T-Mobile and Sprint had to clear a whole succession of hurdles. For example, there was the lawsuit from 13 attorneys general who said prices would rise for consumers. The judge ultimately disagreed, and over the hurdle they went. Then there was the deal with Dish Network, forced to sell off some subscribers over antitrust concerns. That didn't last long either. Over we go. Massive lobbying effort. Leger met many times with the FCC and DOJ. That raised eyebrows, even staying at a Trump hotel in DC. Over we go. The deal is expected to finalize in April. The Sprint name will disappear. It will disappear, and the new T-Mobile still in third place. Who else is there? Oh, well, you can see the formidable AT&T, parent company of this network, pays my wages. AT&T is still in first place. Verizon is in second place. Third place, the new T-Mobile. So Lance Ulanoff is here, Mashable's former editor-at-large, joining me now. So, does being number 3, but a bigger number 3, matter? Does that actually count?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I certainly think it does. You know, it's just, it's a bigger network. It's really about technology because they're combining, you know, these networks. The 5G push, which is probably the most important part of this deal as far as looking forward. You know, they have slightly different 5G technologies, but they can be combined, and there's more coverage for more people. So if you're a T-Mobile customer, you have 5G coverage theoretically everywhere.
But why am I reading in my newspapers that this is a game changer? This deal rewrites telcos in the United States.
I mean, I guess it's look, we've had, over the long history of telcos, we've had the big giant Ma Bell, and they break it up, and then we have all these companies, and we have these mergers and consolidations, but we always have this idea that we're going to try never to have this big conglomerate, one company, and here we are again, boiling down to essentially 3. Now, I know they're trying to prop up Dish like some sort of wobbly table, but I don't think that's really going to work here. You know, customers aren't going to, probably may not stay with it, and certainly aren't going to march over to it. So we have a consolidated area at a moment in time when the government is taking a hard look at tech mergers and acquisitions. That's what's so weird about this moment, is that this has happened. The federal government said this is okay, and yet we have legislators and potential presidents saying it's not good to have this consolidation. We have to stop it. We have to unravel it.
Is it realistic, though? I mean, I think to the UK, of which I'm familiar, of course, has numerous operators, Vodafone and the like, and several smaller operators. What's lacking here seems to be the smaller operators, but it's hard to see how they survive. I mean, I see adverts on television for some strange ones that claim that they're half the price.
Well, those are MVNOs, right? Those are companies that are using the infrastructure of the bigger telcos to basically do their service. So they didn't build the wires, the cell towers, all of that.
But if they're offering cheaper prices than the big 3 across their networks, then that is a competitive advantage. You're looking cynical.
Because they're kind of competitors, but they're not running their own networks they're kind of doing it. It's just they're kind of a small, very tiny piece of this picture. The ones that matter now are the big 3. And what T-Mobile is going to do, obviously in the 5G space, but also how it's going to encroach on home cable sort of broadband access, what it's planning to do there. I mean, this is going to be extremely disruptive.
Before we finish, I want to just get your view. We've got AT&T, parent company of this network, with its policy and its strategy of media. It owns the old Time Warner, now Warner Media. You've got T-Mobile sort of doing its own thing, but not in quite the same way in terms of content creation. Yeah. And you've got Hans Vesterberg at Verizon basically saying, we made a mistake in all these other things. We're not going into the content creation. We'll buy it and we'll make it that way.
I think that it's going to be very interesting to see who doesn't go into content creation, because everyone wants to, even though that's supposed to be not what you have in a monopoly, is to allow people to have sort of both the content and the delivery platform. That's what's happening everywhere. I fully expect with T-Mobile, especially if they push into the home broadband access, to push into content as well.
Creation?
Yeah, but everybody does it sort of, what they do is they don't actually create it, they hire some people, and if they see a long road to great revenue, they will start to create it on their own. But that's not going to happen right away at all.
Good to see you, sir, as always. Thank you.